Okay, good evening. Thank you. I'm Renee Leguire. I live at 148 Larkin Street here in Findlay. And I just wanted to read, I had a letter to the editor in the paper on Saturday. And those of you who don't get the paper, I thought that I would just read it. And then that's my comment. It's about the $40 million park. And it's called Proceed Slowly on the New Park. Most of us feel the pinch of ever-increasing prices of gas, groceries, housing, clothing, real estate taxes, sales tax, and federal and state taxes. This is happening because the politicians, local and otherwise, are reckless with other people's money. And they see it as theirs to spend with little regard for the people. We, the people, the taxpayers. Every now and then, they need to be reminded that we are their bosses. So it is with the $40 million park. I am not opposed to a park. I am opposed to a $40 million park. So it is with the $40 million park that the city of Findlay wants to build, not to mention the $4.4 million just to design it. The new park will cost each Findlay resident at least $1,000, so a family of four would pay $4,000 at a minimum. We are told that grants and donations will pay for the park, but grants are also taxpayer money in a different form. No one knows yet where the grants or donations will come from, according to information from the August 15th meeting. We have to wait to pass it to find out this information, which most likely will take place at this meeting. At the very least, this park should be put on the ballot for people to vote on. Would you buy a house without knowing how you would pay for it? Recently reported in the Courier, there was a stabbing at the Fort Findlay playground, which also resulted in one person having a broken femur. Having so many nice parks, which need to be cared for and apparently patrolled now, it is a luxury that we have here in the city of Findlay. So City Council, proceed slowly on this idea and give people a chance to vote on these issues. Most people are so busy trying to keep up with inflation and taxes that they have no time to look into this park idea. The $40 million park sounds nice, but when you then put 300 housing units on it, there's going to be similar crime problems. So I want you to proceed slowly. I hope that you either table this or don't vote on it tonight. But $40 million is a lot of taxpayer money. Even if it's through grants, it's still taxpayer money. So I think it's time that we be a little frugal. I have to be frugal. My husband and I are both on a fixed income, and I have to be very frugal with our finances. And I don't appreciate wasting taxpayers' money. So.
Questions, Holly?
I don't believe we will be voting on this tonight. We're still waiting on the phase 1, phase 2s to come back. I appreciate your letter to the editor. You talk about putting it on the ballot to vote. I know there was a statement made, and maybe Jim, you can refresh us on council, that council can possibly do that to avoid the citizens doing it and maybe being a little more drastic than maybe council if we wrote something, but I don't remember what you said. Can you refresh?
Mr. Stasiak?
Yes, I had a conversation with bond counsel, and we regularly discuss finances of the city and whatnot, and this was such big money. The conversation came up because it is significantly controversial in our community. And bond counsel stated, as a municipality, you have the ability to put a non-binding, basically opinion vote of the community out. So you can put on the ballot the question, are you in favor of us moving forward with this park as proposed by the preliminary designs dated XX as proposed by the mayor? And take that preliminary vote, and again, it's non-binding. In other words, even if the whole community says no, you could move forward with a component of it, but the intent is for you to gauge the entire community rather than the subsets that are speaking in your ears on a regular basis. And that was the comment I made. And I don't think it's a bad idea, but certainly I'm not a council member, so it's at your discretion.
Other questions for Renee? Ms. Frishy?
So one more question then. What would the cost be for
This is a
something
question
like that?
for the speaker.
So it's regarding this topic.
Okay. for
So
the
unless you
speaker.
want Renee to ask Jim, I can just ask him.
Mr. Wobser,
I had a question, so
it
I'm
was
waiting for
not
an
addressed
answer.
to the speaker.
What?
Mr. Wobser.
Or excuse me, I had
Mr.
a
Webster.
question and you are out of order. You know, oh, the hammer's coming down. Renee, can you ask our city auditor what that potential cost would be if the city council were to put a opinion vote non-binding on the ballot, please?
Yes. Mr. Stashak, could you answer that question for me, please?
Yes. I don't know the actual cost, but I would infer that, we have general elections twice a year, primaries and the general in the fall. As long as it was included within the time frame as required by the Board of Elections, and there was an election in place, the cost, I would assume, would be minimal. You're talking about language and counting those votes. So they may have a charge, but I'm sorry, I don't know that.
Mr. Wobser.
Renee, you said you were not in favor for it, so you're in favor of the park. Am I correct in that?
I am in favor of,
A
you
park,
know,
which is, so you're something.
something
So
that
tell
is
me, what is your
reasonable.
dollar figure that's correct for this park?
Oh, I don't have a dollar figure
Okay,
that's
thank
correct.
you.
However, I do think that the parks that we have are not being maintained.
Okay,
And
that's what I wanted to know, is what you thought a good number was for this park.
yeah, I don't know, but
All right, thank
but
you
I
very
think
much.
that the cube out there, some of those steps out there are extremely dangerous for those people that are watching. The park looks great, the fields look great, but where the people sit and the pavers and things are loose, and it could be a very dangerous thing for people. So maintain what we have. Thank you.
Thank you, Renee.